this is the first time we've sat down and spoken in more than 20 years. Like, I don't even remember the last time we worked together. I guess,
What?
like, I have no idea. I left the Susquehanna Nation in '04.
You were still there though? Huh.
Yeah.
So you
So
made
I-
it through the bone.
I graduated from UNT and went on. I left the ticket in Susquehanna just because I needed benefits. So I
Yeah.
went to work for Jesus at Salem Radio Network with Jim Bartow.
I did that briefly. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know
I was
that.
a production guy at for what was the station? Case Guy and the other one, the religious one. Yeah, yeah.
The Word.
The
Yeah.
Word, yeah, the Word.
Well, it's so funny because Salem became Susquehanna West because so many
Bartow.
people that used to work there went to work at Salem Radio Network. Jim Bartow, Ken Mendez,
That's right, Ken did, yeah.
Psycho Dave,
Kenco.
you, me.
Uh-huh.
But your time, I think we were in different time frames there.
Yeah, you weren't there when that was.
I was 04 to 06, and then I went to work for Yahoo, and then I came back for like less than a year from 10 to 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2010
Okay.
to 2011.
Okay.
So, but I was going to try to refresh my memory a little bit since we haven't spoken in so long. I was trying to remember when the first time we met was, and like, I know you didn't grow up in Dallas. You came from Boston, and you started your career there. So talk about your first radio job and like, how did you end up on the air? And did you always know you wanted to do that? Just
I knew, yeah. I was a dorky little kid, fascinated with radio. I'm of the age where like AM radio was still kind of the top 40 outlet in Boston. I remember listening to WRKO 680, which is still there. I think it's a sports. Pretty sure it's a sports talk station now. This back when there's still some AM stations that played. And I was a kid. I was young at this point. But I remember having like a 45 record collection, which are you know what those are, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm a little older than you, but I had the little the Panasonic Tube Loop radio, which looked like a lopsided bagel kind of. It was this round radio, and Panasonic was kind of cutting edge, you
Right.
know? And I had that, so I listened to WRKO and WMEX. And then my dad bought a house in Martha's Vineyard when I was young, so that was kind of like a summer home. And we'd go there, and I could get the WPRO from Providence, and it was like, so I was so fascinated. Like being able to hear stations from outside of Boston was like, like exciting. I mean, it's just so weird. Things that thrilled me when I was a kid, like the ferries that we took there and radio stations and
this is the 1970s.
70, yeah, this would be the 70s, yeah. And so I had a tape recorder as a kid, and I literally played DJ. I pretended I was a guy, and I would play it. Obviously, it wasn't connected inwardly. It was just, I was recording, and my little stereo at the time, I had I remember that stereo too. I want to say it was like a realistic, all-in-one kind of thing. It had like the 8-track on it, but it had the turntable on top.
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack, yeah, it was right here in Fort Worth. And so it had it was an all-in-one and with the 8-track. And I remember, but I played DJ, and I would I don't have any of those cassettes, thank God, but I did that, and then I kind of did that like probably a little later than I could have. My brother bought like a really cool component stereo system. They were like Pioneer and I think it was all Pioneer components. And so I would sneak down there like on Saturday night, because I was still young enough. I don't think I had a social life on Saturday night yet. And I'd go down there and kind of do like a radio show using his thing, 'cause it sounded better,
Right.
And then I eventually got my own components. And I think when I stopped doing that probably in like 8th grade, I think maybe 8th or 9th grade. Seemed kind of silly. And then but I got through high school, and I was communications major at UMass, which is our huge state university. And so I had a radio show on WZZZ, which was the dorm area. UMass Amherst is this huge. It's a huge college, and this one living area, which is kind of the party living area. Of course, I lived in a dorm in that area. They had 22 floor towers, and so ZZZ was the station for the no FCC regulations or anything, just for that area, you know. So I do
Nice.
have a tape. I do still have a tape of myself on there, and I got a pretty ferocious Boston accent.
Bet.
Not quite Wahlberg, but it was still like, you know, it was still pretty dead on. So and like the phone would ring, you know, in the studio, you'd hear the phone ringing, and you know, my friends would call up requests, and I'd put the, you know, the phone just old school like that, and then
So what year did you start at UMass?
80 the fall of 82.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm getting up there. So